Welcome to Astrology with Arin, your monthly guide to the skies. I'm your host and astrologer, Arin, and each episode will explore the astrology of the month ahead, from planetary transits to lunations, so you can align with the rhythms of the cosmos, navigate challenges, embrace opportunities, and flow with the celestial currents above. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Astrology with Arin, and welcome to your December 2025 forecast here on Awakening Airwaves. I'm your host and astrologer, Arin, and as always, I'm grateful to be here with you. Every month, we step into the movement of the sky together, grounding ourselves in the rhythm of the planets so we can navigate life with clarity, intention, and a sense of alignment. December is a rich month, full of contrast and integration, and I'm looking forward to exploring it with you. Before we begin, I want to remind you that you can read my full lunar blog for every new and full moon, complete with lunar rituals, rising sign horoscopes, and my recommended crystal and herb allies, all on my website, astrologywitharin.com. You can also book a one-on-one consultation with me there if you'd like to explore how the coming transits speak directly to your own birth chart. The link is in the show notes. Today's episode will follow our usual flow. We'll start with a wide-angle overview of December's astrology, then turn toward the Gemini Full Moon and the Sagittarius New Moon, and end with horoscopes for all 12 rising signs, each with a theme and a reflection question to carry with you into the month. So take a breath, get comfortable, and let's step into the energies of December. December arrives like a threshold month, a place where we're both looking back and looking forward, integrating what the year has taught us while preparing for a new cycle to unfold. This month is active and layered. It opens with a bright, curious full moon in Gemini, moves through a series of clarifying and sometimes confronting aspects, brings us a potent new moon in Sagittarius at the Galactic Center, and then delivers us to the winter solstice and the sun's entry into Capricorn. There's a sense of movement throughout the month, but it's not chaotic, it's purposeful. December feels like the moment when our experiences over the past year rise to the surface, asking us to synthesize, understand, and choose what will come with us into the new year and what will not. We begin the month with Venus at 1 degree of Sagittarius, sextiling Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius on December 2nd. This is a subtle tone setter, but it matters. Venus in Sagittarius wants truth, clarity, and freedom. Pluto in Aquarius wants depth, authenticity, and long-term transformation. Together, they invite honesty in relationships, a clear assessment of values, and a willingness to let connections evolve so they can support who you're becoming, not just who you've been. From there, the energy builds towards the full moon in Gemini on December 4th, which serves as the first major anchor point of the month. This full moon is mentally active, revealing, and quick-moving. It's ruled by Mercury, who has just stationed direct in Scorpio and is still working through his shadow. Information comes forward, but it does so slowly. Insights emerge that may feel like they've been waiting beneath the surface for months. This full moon also sits square the lunar nodes, the south node, K2 in Virgo, and the north node, Rahu in Pisces, marking it as a turning point. Full moons square the nodes often correlate with moments where we can't ignore the truth anymore. Something becomes clear enough that a choice must be made, or a direction becomes clear, even if we didn't expect it. After the full moon, we move through a series of important mid-month transits. Mercury trines Jupiter and Saturn, perfecting a grand water trine. Mars squares Saturn. Mercury opposes Uranus and then trines Neptune right as Neptune stations direct. All of these aspects help us digest what the full moon revealed. They highlight the difference between what feels true and what is true, between the stories we tell ourselves and the reality we're working with. These transits gently push us toward deeper emotional honesty and clearer mental insight. They help us clear the noise from the year and prepare for what comes next. The second major anchor point of the month is the new moon in Sagittarius on December 19th. This new moon is visionary and expansive, closely aligned with the Galactic Center. It's ruled by Jupiter, retrograde but exalted in Cancer, which gives the lunation a sense of emotional wisdom and spiritual sincerity. But the new moon also squares both Saturn and Neptune in late Pisces, creating a moment where belief meets responsibility. What we reach for needs to be not only inspiring, but also real, sustainable, and grounded. And then we arrive at the winter solstice on December 21st, when the sun enters Capricorn. This is the moment when the northern hemisphere turns toward the light again. It's a symbolic renewal, a reminder that even in the darkest season, the light returns. Capricorn season invites us into steadiness, responsibility, and long-term intention setting. The final transits of the month, Sun square Neptune, Venus square Saturn and Neptune, then entering Capricorn, and Mercury square Saturn, bring us a quieter, more reflective tone. They help us integrate what December has stirred and prepare for the major transits of early 2026. Now that we've set the stage, let's take a closer look at the Gemini full moon, the first lunation of the month. The Gemini full moon rises on December 4th at 13 degrees of Gemini, illuminating themes of communication, information, movement, and clarity. Gemini is a mutable air sign, curious, adaptable, perceptive. It takes in the world not in sweeping philosophical arcs, but in details, questions, and lived experience. Under a Gemini moon, truth often arrives through conversation, observation, or a moment of unexpected insight. This full moon is ruled by Mercury in Scorpio, who is just stationed direct on November 29th. Mercury remains in his shadow until December 17th, which means a new understanding of old stories will continue to unfold throughout the month. This moment doesn't demand instant clarity. It asks for patience, discernment, and a willingness to let the truth emerge in layers. With Mercury in Scorpio, the tone of this full moon is deeper than a typical Gemini lunation. Scorpio adds intensity, emotional honesty, and a desire to understand what lies beneath the surface. Words may carry more weight. Conversations may reveal more than expected. Patterns, motives, or dynamics that were hidden become clear. The full moon sits exactly square the lunar nodes, Ketu in Virgo and Rahu in Pisces. This creates a crossroads effect, a moment when events or realizations feel significant, sometimes faded. Full moons square the nodes often bring decisions that can't be delayed or awareness that shifts the trajectory of a situation. In Virgo and Pisces, the nodal square emphasizes themes of clarity versus confusion, precision versus intuition, control versus surrender. The Gemini moon asks, where can you meet these opposites in the middle? Where can you find truth through integration rather than extremes? This full moon also sits within 3 degrees of Aldebaran, one of the 4 royal fixed stars. Located at 10 degrees of Gemini, Aldebaran is the watcher of the East, a star associated with leadership, clarity, and moral integrity. When a lunation falls near Aldebaran, the themes of honesty and ethical action are amplified. This full moon says, do what is right, not what is convenient. Choose alignment, even if it costs comfort. Opposite the moon, we have Venus at 5 degrees of Sagittarius and Mars at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. Both co-present the sun. Venus in Sagittarius seeks truth and authenticity in relationships. Mars in Sagittarius takes bold, direct action. Their opposition to the moon adds emotional intensity and conviction. This creates a push-pull dynamic. Your mind gathers information. Your heart and will want to act immediately, but clarity requires a moment of reflection. Let the information settle before taking action. Behind the scenes, an exalted Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in late Pisces, and retrograde Uranus in Taurus all sit in supportive, though not exact, aspect. Jupiter trines Saturn by sign. Saturn and Neptune are traveling closely together, and Uranus receives sextiles from both Jupiter and Saturn-Neptune. This creates emotional steadiness beneath the mental motion. It's a stabilizing influence. Even if the full moon feels mentally busy, the heart and intuition remain grounded. Let's talk briefly about crystal and herb allies. For this lunation, I recommend working with apatite and gotu kola. Apatite is a stone of clarity, communication, and intellectual focus. It helps articulate truth without losing nuance. Under a Gemini moon ruled by Mercury and Scorpio, apatite supports honesty that is grounded, compassionate, and precise. It helps you speak without over-explaining and listen without defensiveness. You can meditate with apatite before a difficult conversation, place it on your journal as you write, or keep it nearby during rituals focused on communication or clarity. Gotu kola is a deeply supportive herb for the nervous system. It enhances mental clarity, focus, and memory, making it ideal for a full moon that may feel mentally stimulating or overwhelming. As a tea or tincture, it can help integrate insights and steady the mind. Consider drinking gotu kola tea as you reflect on what this full moon reveals, or as you sit with a journal to explore the themes coming forward. December continues with a series of important aspects that deepen and clarify the full moon's themes. Let's walk through them together as each one adds a layer to the month's energetic landscape. On December 6th, Mercury at 24 degrees of Scorpio forms a trine to retrograde but exalted Jupiter at 24 Cancer. This is one of the most supportive communication aspects of the month. Conversations open, understanding deepens, emotional honesty flows with more ease. This is a lovely day for communication, vulnerability, and truth-telling. On December 7th, Mercury in Scorpio trines Saturn at 25 Pisces, while the moon conjoins Jupiter at 24 Cancer. Together, these form a perfect grand water trine. This is a moment of emotional coherence, intuition, memory, and wisdom weave together. This is the deep breath of the month, a reminder that inner stability is always available. Let yourself rest into it and feel supported. On December 8th, Mars at 25 Sagittarius squares Saturn at 25 Pisces. This aspect often shows up as frustration, delay, or the need to slow down. If something feels blocked, trust that Saturn is asking you to consider the long-term implications. Proceed with awareness, not force. On December 10th, Mercury at 28 Scorpio opposes retrograde Uranus at 28 Taurus. Expect sudden insight, surprise conversations, or information that breaks open a stuck dynamic. This transit can feel destabilizing, but it's designed to awaken. Sometimes the truth arrives all at once. On December 11th, Neptune stations direct at 29 Pisces, the very last degree of the sign, while Mercury trines Neptune the same day. This is a deeply intuitive moment. Dreams speak more clearly. Symbols feel meaningful. Artistic and spiritual work flows. It's also a day to be mindful of boundaries. Let intuition guide you, not fantasy. Later that same day, Mercury re-enters Sagittarius, his sign of detriment. The mind becomes more expressive and less concerned with precision. There's a desire for big ideas, big truths, big conversations. Let inspiration flow, but check the facts. At 2 degrees of Sagittarius, Mercury sextiles Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius on December 13th. Communication becomes precise and powerful. This is an excellent day for negotiation, planning, or transformative conversations. On December 14th, Mars at 29 Sagittarius squares Neptune at 29 Pisces. This can dissolve energy or blur direction. Use this day for rest, reflection, or spiritual practice. Let intuition, not urgency, guide you. Then on December 15th, Mars enters Capricorn, the sign of his exaltation. Energy becomes focused, determined, and capable. This is one of the strongest placements for Mars and will help carry you through the rest of the month with clarity, drive, and discipline. The next day, on December 16th, the Sun at 25 Sagittarius squares Saturn at 25 Pisces. This aspect brings a reality check or a moment of responsibility. Think of it as alignment, not limitation. It grounds the Sagittarian fire in integrity. The Sagittarius New Moon arrives on December 19th at 28 degrees of the sign, closely aligned with the Galactic Center at 27 Sagittarius. This is one of the most mystical points in the zodiac, a place associated with spiritual downloads, intuitive vision, and the sense of being guided by something larger than ourselves. New moons in Sagittarius always invite expansion, possibility, and perspective. But this one reaches deeper. It asks what you aim toward, not just outwardly, but inwardly. It asks what you believe in, what gives your life coherence, what direction feels soul-led rather than ego-driven. With the sun and moon aligned at this late degree, we're working with mature Sagittarian energy. This is not the restless exploration of early Sagittarius. It's the wisdom gained through experience, the kind of clarity that only arrives when you've walked far enough to see the landscape from a higher vantage point. The new moon is ruled by Jupiter, who is retrograde but exalted at 22 degrees of Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer expands through care, feeling, nourishment, and emotional truth. This gives the new moon a quality of sincerity and depth. Insight comes not from abstraction, but from the heart. There's a softness under this fire, a wisdom that is felt as much as understood. This new moon asks, what do you need emotionally in order to grow meaningfully? What does expansion look like when it's rooted in belonging? The new moon forms a square to both Saturn at 25 degrees of Pisces and Neptune at 29 Pisces. This creates a crucible, pressure that distills truth from illusion, hope from fantasy, clarity from confusion. Saturn asks for responsibility, commitment, and integrity. Neptune asks for trust, surrender, and spiritual openness. Together they ask, what is real? What is possible? And how do you know the difference? This is not a lunation for impulsive decisions. It's a lunation for refined intention. Intention shaped by discernment, reflection, and emotional honesty. Mercury at 10 Sagittarius and Venus at 24 Sagittarius are both co-present this new moon. This weaves together the mind, the heart, and the will. It brings clarity to desires, meaning to decisions, and inspiration to conversations. It helps us articulate what we want and why it matters. This lunation is bold, visionary, and spiritually charged, but its power comes from alignment, not intensity. Think of it as aiming an arrow. The arrow is your intention. Neptune provides the vision. Jupiter provides the wisdom. Saturn provides the structure. And the Galactic Center provides the sense of divine alignment. This new moon asks you to aim not at what is loud or flashy, but at what is true. Let's talk crystal and herb allies again for a moment. This new moon, I recommend working with labradorite and sage. Labradorite is a stone of intuition, magic, and spiritual insight. It helps you sense the unseen patterns beneath the surface and tune into inner guidance. Under a new moon aligned with the Galactic Center, labradorite is a powerful ally for intention setting. It helps you listen to your own inner truth and clarify what you're calling in. Hold labradorite during meditation. Place it over your heart or third eye, or keep it nearby while writing your new moon intentions. Sage is a cleansing, clarifying herb. It helps separate noise from truth, doubt from intuition, and distraction from purpose. With Saturn and Neptune both aspecting this lunation, sage helps clear away the subtle residue of confusion. It helps create an energetic environment where clarity can lead. You can burn sage to create sacred space before your lunar ritual, or simply use it to prepare your altar or journaling area. Well, December doesn't slow down after the Sagittarius new moon. Rather, it continues to unfold through a series of aspects that support integration and reflection. On December 20th, Mercury at 11 degrees of Sagittarius squares the lunar nodes. Conversations, decisions, or realizations from earlier in the month come back into focus. This is a moment of alignment. What path feels most meaningful and true? Later on the same day, the Sun at 29 degrees of Sagittarius squares Neptune at 29 Pisces. This can blur clarity or amplify dreams. If things feel uncertain, take it as a sign to pause. Let insight arrive in its own time. Finally, also on December 20th, Venus at 25 Sagittarius squares Saturn at 25 Pisces. Relationships and desires may feel heavier or more serious. Some relationships may require deeper commitment. Others may call for release. This can be a moment of clarity about what is sustainable and what is not. Let honesty lead. On December 21st, the Sun enters Capricorn, marking the winter solstice in the Northern Hemisphere. This is the longest night of the year, a moment of stillness, reflection, and renewal. From here, the light begins its slow return. Happy birthday to all the Capricorns. Your season begins in stillness, inviting you to step into your own authority, to claim responsibility for what you want to build, and to move forward with steadiness and clarity. Capricorn season asks, what do you stand for? What are you willing to work toward? What legacy are you shaping through your daily choices? On December 23rd, Venus at 29 Sagittarius squares Neptune at 29 Pisces. This softens boundaries around desire and connection. It encourages compassion, but also clarity. Let your heart stay open, but grounded. The next day, Venus moves into Capricorn, bringing seriousness and commitment into relationships, pleasure, and values. This is a transit that supports long-term thinking and grounded affection. Finally, on December 30th, Mercury at 26 Sagittarius squares Saturn at 26 Pisces. This is the final reality check of the month and the last major aspect of the year. It helps close the mental and emotional loops and bring some necessary finality to the year before we step into 2026. Let's jump into the horoscopes for all 12 rising signs. Before we begin, a quick reminder. These horoscopes are written from the perspective of the rising sign, but you can also listen for your sun sign, your moon sign, or any placement that you feel especially connected to. Okay, let's begin. So for Aries Rising, your theme for December, a call to speak your truth. December activates your third and ninth houses, highlighting communication, learning, teaching, and the formation of a wider worldview. The Gemini Full Moon illuminates a truth you've been circling all year, something you've sensed but haven't fully articulated. This may show up through conversation, a contract, a piece of news, or a sudden insight that changes how you see a situation. Mercury working through Scorpio suggests that what you learn may feel emotionally weighty or transformative. The Sagittarius New Moon expands your vision and invites you to reconnect with meaning, belief, and long-term direction. You're clarifying what you stand for and what kind of story you want to tell with your life. The solstice asks you to honor responsibility without losing courage. Your words carry power this month. Use them wisely. What personal truth do you feel called to share with the world? And for Taurus Rising, your theme for December, rewriting your foundations. Your second and eighth houses take center stage this month, bringing attention to money, resources, intimacy, and shared commitments. The Gemini full moon reveals a financial pattern or a value-based decision that has needed clarity for some time. This may involve budgeting, renegotiating an agreement, or releasing an outdated relationship to scarcity. Mercury's position in Scorpio suggests that long-held emotions around money or security may surface. The new moon in Sagittarius invites you to reorganize shared resources or restructure the agreements that support your life. Jupiter in your third house offers emotional intelligence and practical insight. Trust the conversations that unfold. The solstice highlights your desire to build stability that also supports your long-term growth. By the end of the month, you'll feel clearer about what you have, what you share, and what you need. Where are you reclaiming your sense of worth and agency? For Gemini Rising, your theme for the month, the process of becoming. The full moon in your sign brings a personal revelation. Something about your identity, direction, or self-expression comes sharply into focus. This is a culmination of months of inner work, and it may feel like a breakthrough moment. You're shedding a version of yourself that no longer fits and stepping into a more authentic way of being. Relationships may reflect this shift back to you, especially with Venus and Mars opposite this full moon. The Sagittarius New Moon opens new beginnings in partnership, collaboration, and connection. This could be the start of a new relationship storyline or a deeper commitment to an existing bond. Jupiter asks you to trust your emotional instincts. They're wiser than you think. The solstice brings the stability needed to support your evolving identity. What new version of you is emerging now, and how can you nurture yourself into becoming? And for Cancer Rising, your theme for December, clearing space for renewal. December activates your 12th and 6th houses, rest, healing, health, and spiritual integration. The Gemini full moon illuminates what needs to be released in order for you to move forward. This could be an old habit, a pattern of self-sacrifice, or an emotional weight you've been carrying quietly. Mercury's movements this month encourage deep processing and honest reflection. The Sagittarius New Moon invites you to rebuild your daily routines in a way that supports your well-being. This is a powerful month for reorganizing your health, schedule, or spiritual practice. Mars entering Capricorn intensifies relationship dynamics. Partnerships may demand clarity, boundaries, and commitment. The solstice shifts you towards stability and connection. What are you ready to lay down so you can rise lighter? For Leo Rising, your theme for December is creative courage. Your 5th and 11th houses are activated. Creativity, pleasure, romance, community, and long-term plans. The Gemini full moon brings clarity around friendships, collaborations, or group involvement. You may realize where you feel aligned and where you don't. Your creative energy is strong this month, especially as the new moon in Sagittarius lights up your 5th house. This is a powerful moment for artistic projects, dating, joy, and self-expression. Jupiter in your 12th house encourages trusting your inner world, even when others can't yet see what you're building. Mars entering Capricorn supports disciplined work on creative or passion-driven goals. Let pleasure and purpose walk together. What creative impulse wants expression now? And for Virgo Rising, your theme for the month? Redefining direction. December activates your 4th and 10th houses, home, family, career, and public life. The Gemini full moon illuminates a professional or public shift that's been building all year. This could involve recognition, responsibility, or a clear turning point in your vocation. Mercury suggests that behind-the-scenes insights play a major role in your choices. The new moon in Sagittarius shifts your attention inward to home, family, belonging, and emotional grounding. This is the time to reorganize your foundations so your career can grow steadily over the coming year. Mars entering Capricorn brings support for creative projects, parenting, or self-expression. The solstice stabilizes your routines and gives you a sense of purpose. What structural shift will support the future you're building? And for Libra Rising, your theme for December, expanding your perspective. December lights up your third and ninth houses, learning, communication, travel, and worldview. The Gemini full moon brings an insight or a piece of information that changes how you see something important. This is a moment of mental expansion, and it may come through study, conversation, or a meaningful encounter. Mercury encourages deeper learning and reassessment of values. The Sagittarius New Moon invites you to expand your immediate world through learning, communication, short trips, or pursuing a new path of curiosity and skill building. Jupiter in your 10th house supports professional growth and clarity of direction. Mars entering Capricorn asks for grounded action around home and family matters, while the solstice brings stability to your emotional world. What new understanding is shaping your path forward? And for Scorpio Rising, your theme for the month, honoring what matters most. Your second and eighth houses take center stage. Resources, intimacy, shared commitments, and self-worth. The Gemini full moon brings emotional or financial clarity, potentially around a shared resource or lingering entanglement. Mercury encourages direct conversations about boundaries, desires, or needs. The Sagittarius New Moon invites you to rebuild your financial or energetic foundation from a place of integrity. This is about aligning your spending, earning, and giving with what truly matters. Jupiter in your ninth house encourages long-term planning and spiritual growth. Mars entering Capricorn strengthens your communication, helping you navigate negotiations with confidence. The solstice supports new commitments rooted in honesty. What needs to shift so your resources support your values? And for Sagittarius Rising, your theme for December, renewal through responsibility. The Gemini full moon activates your seventh house of relationships, revealing truth in partnerships, collaborations, or agreements. This could involve a turning point or a deeper level of honesty in your closest connections. Mercury asks you to look beneath the surface and speak plainly about what's really going on. The Sagittarius new moon marks a personal reset, a fresh beginning, a reclamation of identity, a recommitment to your truth. Jupiter in your eighth house offers support as you shed an old version of yourself. Mars entering Capricorn strengthens your finances and helps you take practical steps towards stability. The solstice grounds your momentum and helps you move forward with intention. What truth about yourself are you ready to inhabit fully? And for Capricorn Rising, your theme for December, sacred maintenance. December activates your 6th and 12th houses, health, routines, rest, and retreat. The Gemini full moon brings insight into habits or obligations that drain your energy. Mercury in Scorpio helps you understand the emotional roots of your stress or fatigue. The Sagittarius new moon invites you to rest, reflect, and reconnect with your spiritual practice. This is a beautiful month for healing the nervous system and creating supportive rhythms. Mars entering your sign gives you energy, clarity, and direction. The solstice brings personal renewal. This is your season of ambition and sovereignty. What would it look like to honor your energy with devotion? And for Aquarius Rising, your theme of the month, community and calling. Your 5th and 11th houses are active: creativity, friendship, joy, and long-term vision. The Gemini Full Moon brings clarity to a creative project or relationship with a child, a lover, or your own desire. Mercury deepens your understanding of your calling and the role community plays in it. The Sagittarius New Moon activates your 11th house, your allies, networks, hopes, and future plans. This is a beautiful month to connect with others who share your vision. Jupiter in your 6th house helps you refine routines that support your dreams. Mars entering Capricorn encourages private breakthroughs or behind the scenes progress. The solstice shifts the focus inward. Rest becomes strategic. What future are you ready to build in community? And finally, for Pisces rising, your theme for the month: building toward what you believe. December activates your 4th and 10th houses: home, family, vocation, and structure. The Gemini full moon highlights a home or family matter that needs clarity or resolution. Mercury supports honest conversations and emotional processing. The Sagittarius New Moon activates your 10th house of career and purpose, inviting expansion and possibility. This is a powerful moment for professional vision and long-term intention setting. Jupiter in your 5th house encourages creativity, joy, and heart-centered work. Mars entering Capricorn strengthens your social world and helps you connect with allies who support your goals. The solstice roots your progress and stabilizes your foundation. What foundation would support you to move toward the future you want? Okay, well, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me for the December 2025 forecast. I hope this brings you clarity, direction, and a sense of grounded alignment as you close out your year. If you're interested in weekly mini horoscopes, follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Astrology with Arin. You can also book a one-on-one consultation with me to explore how these and other transits impact your own natal chart and life. Learn more about that on my website, astrologywitharin.com. I'm wishing you a meaningful, steady, and heart-centered end to your year. Take good care, and may you trust the divine timing unfolding in your life.